to the Rolling Dice podcast, which is episode 11, 12, 13. It could be anyone, to be honest. Welcome back. You may have missed us. That might be Dan Cito's fault, but I can't confirm. He's not in the room. I'm joined by Richard Smith.
Hello.
Joined by Mr. Jimmy Dance of Loading Bar.
Yellow.
And our favourite artist, Tom Ryan.
Hello.
Hi guys. How are we all?
Yeah, good.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me in the new class, as I think we're calling this podcast.
Where have you been? What have you been doing?
I mean, there could be lots of excuses we could use.
We've been doing stuff.
You should definitely check out our YouTube channel, which has had a lot more love than our SoundCloud channel.
You've discovered the platform that is video.
Yes. I think we've been focusing on the YouTube a bit too much. So we return with this weekly.
He can't even get through
Can't
it.
say
He
weekly.
can't
You can't
say weekly. He can't get through it without cracking himself up.
It's our biannual weekly podcast.
It's our semi-regular, when we get around to it, podcast. And actually, we've got a special momentum to mark this.
Not momentum.
We've got momentum. We're ploughing through.
It's
So much momentum, we need to pause now.
it's full shots to get going. So, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Have a good time. Oh, that was
Smooth.
delightful. So, it's been about 5 months since we last podcast. About.
I think you mean 2 weeks.
Since the last podcast, when
Promises were made.
we may have overstepped the mark on what was realistically going to get done, and so we're sorry about that. That was kind of bad form. One of the biggest proponents of, biggest complaints against us came from the person sat opposite me, Tom Ryan. So we figured that we'd get him on board on this next episode, so that he couldn't really listen to it without hearing his own voice.
That does make sense, because it does mean I will not listen to this now. So
we just thought that little bit of revenge.
you've halved your viewership.
To spite you.
Quite possibly, Tom. Quite possibly.
Talking of Tom, let's talk about your game
He's made
that
a
you
game.
brought to the table.
Yeah.
Not a game you created.
And not that he's actually brought to the table.
Not literally.
He's bought a pencil case.
He has brought a pencil case. What have you been playing lately that you want to talk about on the podcast?
Probably two main things.
Okay.
Castles of Mad King Ludwig.
Perfect. Yeah.
And then, because of that, then going on to play Suburbia, which
Okay.
is pretty much the same game, but just plays out a lot nicer, in my opinion. But I actually really enjoyed playing both of them. Been playing loads of that, and then we're playing loads of the new RPG system, Fantasy Age.
Okay. We'll come back to that in a bit, because that's going to be awesome. Jimmy, have you played Castles of Mad King Ludwig?
No. Also, Suburbia.
Yeah.
Rihanna, Disturbia. That's all I ever think
That's
when
what
people say Suburbia.
Every time I was
Suburbia.
like,
I kept thinking it was. I kept thinking it was the same one.
Just to keep things on track about board games.
So I'm fairly certain I said to someone that it was Rihanna, and they were like, "It's not Rihanna," and said
It
it was
is,
somebody
isn't it?
else. I said it was Rihanna.
And
It is.
a film.
It is real.
it's definitely Rihanna.
Oh, maybe I said it was Beyonce.
Just go back and retconning your own mistakes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all I know.
Okay, well, Tom, do you want to describe Castles of Mad King Ludwig to Jimmy and any listeners who've not played it?
Okay.
What happened to your little corner shop roleplay? Is that shut down? Recession put them under. Like, I'm going into Dan's game. All these shops that you've put out of business because no one's gone in for 6 months.
Yeah. That's it. There's not very many stores, specifically in London, that can handle
Like,
zero business.
I
for 6
remember
months.
this explanation mechanic. That poor shopkeeper has been sat there for months, willing to explain every game format in a quick, snappy.
I remember Dan bringing that in and me going, please don't do that again.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay, guys, if you want to take it away,
But what we need to contrast something. What are we
Okay,
contrasting?
do you need to contrast? I thought
alright,
if
okay.
Tom's a shopkeeper,
So I need to...
Richard is a idiotic
Don't
person.
bring me into your weird role playing. This is.
I mean, at what point do I take my top off? Is that necessary for the role play?
That's
I've got some leathers
That's
I
not
can
the
put on
same
if,
shop we're on about.
But that room does exist in Castles of Mad King Ludwig, to bring that back around.
It absolutely does. And
Yeah.
well done, Sam.
There are multiple red rooms.
So, if we just quickly talk about what it is, it's a tile purchasing and placing game
Yeah.
in which you construct a castle that doesn't necessarily start off as mad, but pretty soon becomes it. Everything is on one level to begin with, and then you can purchase stairs which take you down to a second underground level, which is where all the seedy stuff happens. You can have a mould room. You can have a room that has nothing but a massive clamshell bed. You can have a dungeon. All of these rooms can be next to
Multiple
each
dungeons. Yeah.
other. And it's pretty smart.
Yeah. Yeah, just, I mean, the way it played out, played it a couple of times, but yeah.
I don't think you've lost the game either.
No, which is also adds to my, yeah, this is a good game. But then by that merit, I still like Suburbia, and I haven't won a game of that. So
Yeah. Well, we've only played that right once. I think we messed up the rules a bit on the first time, but,
That's true.
but still. And that second game was pretty close when we went through
it
that.
wasn't for me, I was last place.
Oh,
Yeah.
babe. Oh,
Business strategy.
oh no.
So is it the randomness of the layout you get at the end of the game that makes
Yeah,
it
yeah, and it's
favourable?
kind of like the stupidness that there are certain rooms you can only place in certain conditions. So as a result, you just end up with it's when you try to add a story to the idea of your castle. That's when it kind of gets crazy.
Yeah.
When you essentially have to go through like multiple gardens just to get to your weird little sex dungeon, and then
Okay.
I feel sorry for the family of four that stood there like, but which one did we buy? No, you carry on. You keep talking about your weird sex dungeon. I've got like $29.99 to spend. Which one of these two games do I buy? Shh. I'll get to which one's worth buying in a minute.
which of these key words takes your interest? Sex dungeon or Sim City?
Yeah, so to stay on Castle Mad King Ludwig, it's got a really cool thing where every turn somebody is the master builder, or maybe master architect. That might be confusing castles and Lego, but where they get to decide how much each tile is worth for that round, and then all of the other players buy those tiles and pay the master builder. So the master builder needs to make sure that they're setting the tiles at a price that means that they're going to get them the most from the players that obviously want them, but not too high that those players will just pass and take some money, because then you end up with nothing, because you're going to end up paying that out to other players as it goes on.
That's quite a neat mechanic, actually.
Yeah.
Cool.
But it's really smart, and that's completely stripped out of Suburbia.
Yeah.
But it's just because the focus of the game is slightly different in Suburbia. It's more. There's so much more going on in terms of how everything stacks up that would just be one thing too many to keep track of.
Yeah.
Because finding that balance is quite tricky in castles.
Yeah, even in Suburbia, I do find there is. But by the time you get to the end game, there is so much going on, because it's not just about the tile you place down; it's about every other tile you've placed down, and in the end game, every other tile that the other players have also placed down can sometimes affect what you or they get. So yeah, if you then had to take into account trying to afford each of the tiles on your turn so that other people were buying them, it just, fairly certain you'd lose your mind. Although it is was voted one of the Mensa games, wasn't it?
It's got,
it is
it's
for
got a Mensa
geniuses,
logo on the
which
box.
is probably why I've never won.
Yeah, I mean, Suburbia's really, really clever. Very similar. I think if I were to buy both games before I'd played them, I would feel a little...
You're the shopkeeper. You're meant to be telling me which one to buy.
I thought Thomas the shopkeeper.
That's what
No, they're together. It's like they're both running a shop together.
This is
somehow.
a terrible roleplay situation.
I just want a recommendation here.
Have you seen the film, is it Clerks, where the two guys are just stood there chatting the whole time?
Yeah.
That's
This
what
is the
we're
shop
doing.
that you walked into.
No, the question is, do I buy Catan? Oh, forget about Catan.
Yeah, just...
So Suburbia's, like you say, it's a SimCity, the board game. So whereas Castles has lots of different shapes and sizes of rooms, Suburbia is all about hexes, and
Hexes.
each
The occult.
each tile is a hexagon. And it's all about just the placement of those tiles. So rather than trying to line up doors like you are in castles, you're just making sure you're putting it in a place that doesn't lose you any points.
Yeah.
Because most tiles have both positive and negative effects depending on what they're adjacent to. So, like Tom says, when you get to the end game, there's not a lot of places you can put stuff to maximise things. It gets pretty headachy, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Cool. So, despite not playing much of Suburbia yet, would you prefer one to the other?
I think I prefer Suburbia.
I think Suburbia's it's heavier
Yeah.
than Castles.
Literally?
Yeah, now we're finally getting back to the retail thing.
I mean,
I've got to carry this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you're going to give it to your child to carry home, then yeah,
I can
Castles.
get some scales out if you want. No, Suburbia, Castles feels a bit more relaxed whilst you're playing it. It's a bit more kind of light-hearted almost, but also like just in terms of what you're thinking about. All you need to be thinking about is, okay, I need to finish this room, which means I need to close all of these doorways by placing down more room tiles. And you do get some things that kind of stack, but most of them you only have to worry about immediate adjacency.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas in Suburbia, there's an awful lot of stuff. I mean, for one, there's always going to be 6 things that you could put around this one tile. But also, there seems to be an awful lot more of, this one tile that you placed up in the left-hand corner is affected this other thing. And you get a tracker to kind of keep a record of what's going on, but even so, it does kind of...
I think it's also, you've got the resources then on top of that then kind of, complicate it a little more, which I don't feel you have as many of in Castles. It's been a little while since I played Castles now, so I'm quite...
Yeah,
Can't
I
remember,
mean, Castles, you just have money and victory points.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is...
I mean, it's only one more, I guess, in Suburbia, because you've got the money, the reputation, which is ultimately victory
And you get
points.
the
but they
power.
kind of- yeah.
I think it's just because in Suburbia you have a constantly kind of... At the end of every turn, you gain these 2 things.
Yeah.
So you're trying to make 2 kind of tracks go up on in front of you, so that'll influence the big track. Whereas Castles is just an immediate like, okay, I've just earned 5 points from this. I put it on the board.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really good. I'd recommend them both.
Yeah.
Great, finally. I know that word.
Unfortunately, we're closed today, sir, so...
Yeah, I'm sorry. You should have made a decision earlier. I think we're about to go on break, and then after that, the store's closing. So.
Right.
we always go on break just before the store closes. It's a weird system, but...
Jimmy, let's go to you then. What have you been playing?
Battlestar Galactica. It's good.
Well,
That's the end of my section. Moving on.
Thank you very much, Richard. What have you been playing?
How good is it, Jimmy?
BoardGameGeek.com. Other websites are available. It's one of the top rated, so for a while I've been told it's good.
You've had it in the bar for a while, I think.
It was one of the first games we got sent,
say.
and then it's not an easy thing to play. Tips that were suggested were things like watch this YouTube video. You can't just watch a YouTube video, at least not a 10-minute one. When you're already in a bar, it doesn't work.
No.
But if you've got time to sit and read about it, like
Well, I didn't think it was too complex.
it's not... Sorry to jump in, Jimmy. It's not complex overall. It's just there's so many little moving parts.
yeah,
that
once
you need to be
you're
ahead
playing
of.
it all runs,
Yeah,
and everything you're doing tends to explain what it is that you can then do after that or before that and how it flows. But yeah, if you've seen the TV show, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm a sucker for that kind of rubbish. Like in games where you put your name in, there's like, that's my name. Every card. So someone put in a ton of time making all the mission things are episodes from the series, and it's good.
Yeah.
It's
good.
one of the most thematic games I've played.
Yeah,
And it-
yeah.
And it covers the whole first season, that's right?
I think it's
Yeah.
first season and a little bit, second season.
Yeah, a little bit of the second season, because I'm halfway through the second season, and places like the Resurrection Ship are on the board
Yeah.
in the original set. So, but there's no spoilers
Yeah.
in that one. And then I think later expansions
Bring in the later seasons.
bring in the later things.
Which we won't talk about.
Awesome.
I love it. Absolutely, we had so much fun with it.
Yeah.
Because it's got the semi-co-op mechanic in, so there are some traitors, but one of my favourite things about it is that there are 2 loyalty stages. So you might be a good guy to begin with, but then you can change halfway through.
Yeah, which is
Yeah, I mean that's what I had on the last game we played, and it was semi-annoying because for the entire first half of the game, I built up quite a good rapport with my fellow comrades, and me and Jimmy had a solid team.
There's a single tear
And then
running
I picked
down
up
Jimmy's cheek right now, listeners.
And I even messed up, so I picked up the wrong what are they called? The cards? Loyalty cards?
The loyalty cards, yeah.
They're called loyalty. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is hilarious.
So they dealt out the second round of loyalty cards, and I grabbed the one I saw, and I was like, "Oh, brilliant! I'm innocent. It's all good. I'm not Cylon." And then I was like, "Wait, what's that card? Oh, I've just picked up my first loyalty card again. I've completely missed." And I picked it up, and it was like, "You are a Cylon." I was like, "Oh, fuck." Yeah.
Good times. That was the same for me.
And then,
But yeah, if you
knowing, because by that point we'd already established essentially who the other Cylon was, because it was Andy Jones at that point. And like, we pretty much knew we had to send him to the brig. So I was desperately trying, because there was 2 turns. Well, there was, no, 1 turn. It was just your turn, maybe, between Jimmy's turn, between mine and Andy's. So I was like, I just need to not send Andy to the brig somehow.
How do I set up that situation?
There's no way I can do this without casting suspicion on myself.
So from my perspective, I was a character that got 2 loyalty cards at the second stage, so it's just more likely that I was going to be a Cylon. That's why people thought, Jimmy suspected me straight away. And I sort of was listening to Tom say, "Oh, we should try and find the other Cylon, because we know Andy's the Cylon, but I mean that's fine, but we don't know who the other one is." And I didn't cotton on at that point that you were the other Cylon trying to save me. I was just like, "Oh no, if he convinces Jimmy, then I might be alright." and then I think just after that, you quickly winked at me.
I gave him the thing. Whilst I noticed Jimmy was looking at another player, just gave him a very slow, and that was it.
Just a quick blink of the eye.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just come on.
At that point, I went, "Did Tom just wink at me?" And then I nearly WhatsApped you to try and determine, did you just wink at me? But then a turn later, you revealed yourself, and I was like, "Oh yeah, cool,
Yeah.
thank you."
As a silent, you can't follow winking at you with "and then the next day you revealed yourself," because that doesn't, for an audio listener, that doesn't explain what happened there, except you 2 had a lovely evening.
Well, one of them did.
Yeah. But if you
Andy
like
with the visuals.
Resistance, Avalon, games where you're bluffing,
Yeah.
and definitely if you've seen the TV show or at least watched the the pilot episode, there's enough in that you can get into the game.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to. Like, I mean, okay.
For background
Yeah,
information,
this is where we agree to disagree.
3 of the people at this table have seen the TV show and have loved it, and 1 person looked on Wikipedia to find out a bit of the detail and then came to the game.
No, what had happened was, I watched is it the 3-hour pilot? Is it 3 hours long? The first thing?
Yeah.
I watched that about a year and a half ago.
The amazing 3-hour.
And then
Miniseries.
we were watching, I don't know, Arrested Development or something more entertaining for an evening.
Do they have a board game? Do they have a board game?
Whoa.
So yeah, I went on Wikipedia to refresh and just make sure that I had a rough understanding of what was going on. And it didn't affect my enjoyment of the game that we played.
I think it affected mine.
Okay. So I'm sure that had I had a deeper understanding, because like every time Jimmy flipped a card over, as he was saying, it was like, "Oh, this is like in that one episode," which is cool. Like that's what you want from a licensed game. Like it's obviously very, very faithful to the source material and very rewarding as a fan of the series. But that it's still a good game without that knowledge.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I don't think it's a prerequisite for enjoying it at all, but to get the most enjoyment out of it.
Yeah. Because I mean, Battlestar Galactica is one of the best sci-fi TV series in the past 15 years, so it's a really solid backbone for a board game. Some would argue. But I mean, it's quite an old game now. I think it came out sort of 2008-ish.
It's really old, and there's a
So-
ton of expansions for it.
I mean, ultimately, while I love Battlestar Galactica, I'd probably recommend Dead of Winter over it.
I only played one game with Dead of Winter actually.
Have you? You need to play it more.
Yeah.
Dead of
There's
Winter's really
Dark Moon
good.
as well. That's the Battlestar Galactica.
Oh yeah, that
Light
one that's
of-
So
The same,
only-
exactly the same, but minus Battlestar Galactica, and then they've condensed the time frame. The one mechanic that had that Battlestar doesn't is they've got nice dice screens, so you roll your dice during your turn, and they're like, don't roll a 1, and because you've got your little screen similar to Rampage, I think it is, that has them, the little dice things, you can then be like, oh no, I rolled a 1. And be like, did you roll a 1? Because I can't really see whether you did or not. Like, that's quite a nice thing that has the Battlestar doesn't, of people doing something, and then I guess you get that extra window to watch them mentally work out whether to lie or make up the numbers in front of them,
Yeah, that's quite cool.
Yeah,
which is quite nice.
that's cool. I've not played that.
But that still plays in an hour and a half, so it's not light.
But then,
Well,
that's
comparatively.
where I think compared to something like Resistance, it works far better as far as the whole bluffing, lying. There is still a really good payoff either way, whether you get scammed or if you are the one lying.
Yeah.
There's more reward to it than if it was like a 30-40 minute. You don't get
Yeah.
that build up of relationships, and otherwise everyone just sits there like with Resistance, just swearing at each other for 30 minutes and goes, that was cool.
Yeah, I think still though, despite the fact that we are heavily recommending both, I've not played Dark Moon, but all I've heard is good things from it. And obviously Battlestar. Do just never try and introduce that to somebody as their first game.
Oh yeah,
It's far too long, and if somebody new to gaming is the bad guy in a game when everybody else is against that bad guy,
that could be tough.
it's awful. I mean, like the first time if you played Betrayal on House of the Hill for the first time, and it turns out that you're the person that is the betrayer, it's really tricky if you've not played the game before, and unfortunately, that's just the way it works.
Yeah.
So you need to have some experience in that sort of game. But it
is
is fantastic.
Another reason why I quite like Dead of Winter, because even if you're not a traitor, you've got some random objective to do that makes you look crazy. Like, oh no, I just need 4 weapons. Like, I'm just going to go to the police station. No, but the zombies are at the supermarket. No, I'm just going to go to the police station.
Yeah. And also the betrayer in that has a specific agenda as well, which is generally quite easy to kind of... Like you say, it's easy to get lost in that and not look as though you're necessarily the betrayer.
Yeah. But I mean, both solid games anyway.
Yeah, fantastic. Really good.
Talking of space from Battlestar Galactica.
You go that way.
Best segue ever.
I was thinking of a better one, but that's fine.
Okay, maybe you want to do the...
Okay, talking about bluffing and hidden roles, let's talk about Spyfall. In your face!
Nice.
Oh no, but we're going to Armada next.
Well,
Not
In that
anymore.
case, talking about sci-fis that involve the word star.
regardless, let's talk about Star Wars Armada, which is the game that I spent £70 on, played twice.
Yeah.
Same here.
So Star Wars Armada, for those that don't know, is a game that we were worried about Fantasy Flight kind of double dipping, where obviously
Still worried about.
I'm not so worried about now. I've got it, but it's a miniatures game. Obviously, they've already got X-Wing, and X-Wing was a similarly expensive game. So
Whoa. It was £30 for the base set. And then you buy like...
The starter set for Armada, I've got to say, is a far better starter set.
You get a lot more in the box.
The game itself, you can definitely play it, and it played, because we did it with the one box.
Yeah.
It plays better than the... Because obviously the X-Wing thing on a lot of forums is like, buy 2 starter sets, and then you're already back up to...
Same price.
Like, 50-ish.
If you play X-Wing for the first time and enjoy it, you leave the game thinking, I need to go and buy more stuff. With the Star Wars Armada starter set, you leave the game thinking, that was really cool. And then, like, later you might want to buy some more stuff.
Okay.
Cool. There's a lot more kind of meat in there. So, just to kind of compare the two, it's still a miniatures game, but it works at a much larger scale. So you're dealing with the kind of Star Destroyers rather than X-Wings. That's the kind of scale that it's at. They still have the squadrons of smaller ships, but they are dealt with kind of 3 at a time, generally. So you have your TIE fighters, you have your X-Wings, and they are good at slowing down the bigger ships, and just that's about it. You can kind of pepper the big ships with fire from those to try and damage them, but it's probably not going to work. Yeah. So it's quite a cool thing because you've got to try and position those in such a way that slows down the bigger ships. But
well, if you find an unguarded vent that goes directly into the main reactor.
So you're thinking about the Death Star.
That'll be the 3rd game they release.
They've got
which will be like, you've got X-Wing, you've got Armada. This will just be like planet destroyers, and then it'll be lots of big beach ball sized things move around a kitchen table.
By which the squadrons fit on the end of your thumb.
But it's cool. It does away with a lot of
some of the annoying things of X-Wing they've got rid of. You feel more like you're in control of big ships because they've added momentum, so you don't just stop. You have to make a conscious decision to slow down, which means ships trundle forward. You don't, which X-Wing has obviously U-turns. They're gone.
Rather than a selection of different pieces of cardboard at different angles that you use to decide where it ends up, you have a big long plastic thing with different clicks at each joint, so each ship will have a certain maneuverability at a certain speed that it's at, and then you have to lock in a decision to change your speed, but depending on the size of the ship, that might take 3 turns before you can actually change your speed.
Yeah, you pick ahead of you're picking however many turns ahead. Whereas Imperials are a lot further ahead because their ships are bigger. But it's quite a nice idea that you're
it means
deciding things through. You have to think ahead and plot.
It means that you have to think a lot more strategically rather than and kind of like Jimmy says, planning ahead rather than X-Wing, which is pretty reactionary. Like you have to think about what your player is going to do, what your opponent's going to do this turn, rather than what your player's going to do 3 turns down the line. Which obviously kind of works with the scale of the battle as well, because these big ships are thinking about the long term rather than just a skirmish, which is what an X-Wing is thinking about when it's going up against the TIE Fighter. And then the smaller ships work on a much simpler thing of basically they have a range that they can move in, anything within the 360. So it's quite nice to just kind of put the thing down, move it where it needs to go, like pick it up, drop it down, and then it shoots, and you roll some dice. So it simplifies a lot of things in that respect, and then complicates them in what you're actually thinking about. And it's a really nice payoff in kind of how that works out. Ships that come with it are similarly awesome. Yeah. In comparison to X-Wing, they're still really, really nice models. Yeah.
Even the squadron actual models are ridiculously detailed
for the size that they are, which is they fit on your thumbnail. Yeah, they're really, really nice. And I actually went in and painted mine. And
are you done yours now?
Yeah. No. Sure, whatever. But I just gave them a coat of spray and a couple of like dabs of colour, just picking out the highlights, and they look really cool. Like, I was really happy with how they came out because they're not painted just because of the size.
How many times have you played with them since you painted them?
Once. Yeah.
Okay, guys, I've not had any interest in Armada at all. Is it better than X-Wing? I feel like I got my fill from X-Wing.
It's different.
I think it's a better game.
Yeah.
There's definitely cooler ships in X-Wing, because we spoke about this when Armada came out, where they've already announced however many waves ahead of time, and we're like, I can't name any big ships. And they're there, but they're not. It's not as cool as when you had like Y-Wing, B-Wing, A-Wing, X-Wing. Like, there's way more dogfighting ships than there are.
Yeah, that's
the one trade-off. But then, as far as the way the game works, it's much nicer.
That's the thing. It depends what you're coming from it for. Like you just mentioned the Academy Pilot, and that's because whenever we played the Academy Pilot, despite the fact it was the worst ship on the board, killed everything.
Yeah,
so good.
He is a badass mother. Yeah. Like he will kill anything. He will murk Darth Vader and ride off into the sunset. Like you don't have that in Armada. You have a couple of named captains for the bigger ships, but they are named captains. Because that's the people that matter at that scale.
Yeah.
Some of the squadrons will have squadron leaders, so you might have Luke Skywalker, but you're not going to have the basic guy because they're all basic guys.
Don't do that.
And it's not necessarily a problem, but it's something that's... If you're there for the more narrative kind of joking about how Han Solo can't shoot, like he's shooting first but can't hit anything for shit, then you're not going to get that. But it's still as a kind of tactical... If you're wanting to play a miniature warfare game, Armada...
You could easily redo it as Battleship, like a ship one with naval fleets. Would work really well. There's that Halo spin-off that's the same idea. I don't really know why, because there's even less big Halo ships I can think of, but it must have done well enough that other companies have clocked it and gone, let's do big variants on...
And it's Fantasy Flight, so they're continuing to support it. They announced Wave 1 and 2 pretty much immediately that Armada was out. Wave 1's available, and Wave 2's coming... Maybe SM that's due out. I can't quite remember.
Christmas. Okay, I've got one question then, to the quality of Armada.
Yeah.
And I think I will know if I want to play it from this one answer.
Is this the question I asked that hasn't been delivered yet? I think he's Wave 2.
Yeah,
if it's
I
the
think
character,
he is Wave 2.
If it's a character you're asking about,
It is.
I kicked off royally.
Are you trying to lead us into a trap here, Mr. Jones?
I mean, I'm more obvious than I expected. Where's Akbar?
Wave 2.
Akbar
They're holding
is
him
free.
back.
I thought it was free.
No,
I think it's Wave 2.
Yeah, definitely.
Because one of his ships is in possibly Wave 1 as well, which was why it was weird.
Yeah.
They're still doing the slightly naughty Fantasy Flight thing of different upgrades coming with different ships.
Outraged.
It's the same kind of crappy business model that X-Wing was. So if that...
I wouldn't say crappy. I think that's a bit too far because they don't do it too much.
Yeah, it's cheeky.
Okay, so...
It's just that you need to know someone that... it's the thing to get the full game, you want everything. So you need to have other people that have...
Yeah.
Because you can't use... The problem is, same as X-Wing, you're probably going to pick whether you want to spend all your money on one or the other.
Yeah.
Which is when you need to find someone else crazy enough to spend £50, and then it's that...
But doesn't have the same taste as you.
Yeah, that thing, and then it's that thing of balance about you need to buy all the expansions because they're... And it's a good and bad thing. They always put something good in every set.
Yeah, it's like with X-Wing, like Wedge was the pilot that we always hit the field with, and he was in an expansion for an X-Wing, which you don't need because you got that in the base set. Like little frustrations like that are always going to be a part of this, of Fantasy Flight. Sorry, of how they deal with this sort of game.
Yeah,
and that's a problem, but you kind of just have to deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't call it a problem, but I'm not gonna push that point. Let's go to our final game, which is one at least 3 of us have raved about, and Jimmy has played once.
I haven't played at all.
Jimmy's not played at all.
You've played.
I haven't.
Right, so Jimmy's
played at all.
Jimmy's just walked into a store. He sees Spyfall everywhere.
Watch Andy Jones, Salesman of the Year, deliver right now.
He's got his picture above the.
He's
on the
singing
wall behind him.
Skyfall, but about Spyfall, and he knows
Employee of the day.
He knows that's all it takes.
Employee of the day, month, and year.
Please,
Stella of Spyfall. It's Mr. Jones.
Owner.
Jimmy, do you want a game that you can sit
I
down?
was in a game shop, so question 1, I do want a game.
Okay, the customer's giving you sass.
I don't know how to do all that.
Yeah,
I've been
you
reprimanded
have the
for
right
this.
to refuse service.
Jimmy, that was a dramatic pause. Let me continue. Do you want a game where you can sit down with your friends
Again.
Wait
I
for
like
it.
standing games, I love them.
Wait for it. And you can literally just have fun by asking each other questions. It's that simple. Spyfall is absolutely hilarious because it's not complicated at all, and it's like such a simple idea. I'm kicking myself we didn't think of it first.
I'm amazed this game hasn't existed.
I really thought you were going to say, actually, I did think of it first.
I thought about it 2008.
Yeah.
I didn't work on it. I've been upset ever since. So you get the box, and it is 30 decks of cards, and in each deck there are 7. In each deck there's all the cards but one have a location on and a job title. So one deck will say submarine, and it'll be radiographer. And one of the cards.
I love how Andy Jones's mind works. For Off the top of your head, give me a location and a job. Boom. Submarine radiographer.
Only got beach and then tourist.
Yeah, I'd have been like cafe.
Yeah, waitress.
Wait for it.
Yeah.
It makes sense later on. In
No,
the
this is
experiment.
good. I'm
where
just
he's
impressed at how if we hold an ink blots, you'd be like constellations.
Okay, so one of the cards in the deck always says spy, and the game is to ask each other questions. Now, the spy doesn't know where you are, and the people at the location don't know who the spy is. So the spy wins if they can guess where you are, and the other guys win if they can guess who the spy is. So, for example, if you're on the submarine and the spy says, "Hey, Rich, it's nice weather out today, isn't it?"
I wouldn't know.
Richard then goes, "You're a spy." Because obviously you're in a submarine, so why would you know the
Could
weather?
be a submarine on the surface.
You can't be the submarine on the surface.
Yeah, you can.
I mean, it is still a submarine when
If
it's
his
above
job
water.
It's a
role
universe.
The
was
picture
terrorist-
of the submarine is underwater.
So there's a picture on the card as well.
Okay, so it's just an
If
example. Let's not kill it.
I mean, it's a bad
I mean,
example.
It's a basic example.
I mean, this is why you're
So the
crap
car-
at spy for.
But the cards, you have to answer based on what your card says. And if you're a spy, what can you make up?
Okay,
Anything?
okay, so you don't have.
So you
to...
You have to pretend you have a card.
Yeah, you have to pretend that you're at that
You-
location. So you have to. So you're permanently. Yeah, someone like say I'm the spy,
Yeah.
and
Well, let's go with the submarine.
and
Yeah.
Andy Jones is.
How does
Andy
that
Jones
example?
is going first.
So how
If
do
you
they
ask me
how do they
something-
open as going first? Do they say
You literally, so it's any
I'm on a
question.
submarine.
You can ask one person any question, and you can't. You're not allowed to unveil where you are. So
I mean, you are, but you'll give the game.
Yeah, I mean it's pointless to. So you've just got to be cagey, and
KGB?
and if you know where you are, you're sort of trying to show that to share that with other people without giving it away to the spy. So like, oh, it's cold in here today, isn't it? Because I imagine submarines get cold.
Really?
You're so bad at this game.
It's metal. You're in metal.
Never tried to
underwater.
improv stuff.
There's like 100 people in a tiny enclosed space.
Recycled air.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
sod all of you. Anyway, so yeah, so
Andy's the spy.
Yeah, exactly.
the game.
He's never been on a submarine.
That is true. I've never been on a submarine.
He was-
It's my darkest
He
secret.
was born in a weird spy training camp and has never seen the outside world.
But basically, the fun stems from seeing your friends squirm and having just the weirdest conversations you possibly can. You don't have to act as the job or the person on your card. So if you're a tourist, you don't have to pretend to be a tourist.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be a tourist on a submarine, guys. It's all right. But like at one of the other locations. But I think the game becomes much more fun if you do role play a bit to what your character is.
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of people talking on Board Game Geek being like, "Oh, I've got the best question. You just ask what colour the card is." It's like, no, that sucks.
Yeah,
That's metagaming, and that's
yeah.
awful.
That's the Guess Who shenanigans.
Exactly, and it's
certain
even,
questions
like,
obliterate every.
It's just
Like, how many
it's not fun.
characters are on
Like,
the
is it
card?
male or female? And they go, whoa,
Yeah.
half gone. It's kind of pointless.
Yeah, it's like the most
couldn't
fun.
have that conversation as a tourist on a submarine. They'd be like, what card?
Yeah,
My birthday card?
Well, exactly. That's exactly what you.
Like if you have a group of friends that are willing to throw themselves into the roles that they've been given, it's a lot more fun, and you know, it's just it works better as a game, let alone anything else.
And the great thing is, you kind of start off the first couple of rounds. Oh yeah, so the best thing about it is that there's a time limit on each round. So it's what 8 minutes.
8 minutes, I think.
So it just doesn't drag out too long.
Yeah, which means you'll play a game, and you could just play one round and it'll be gone. You will never play one round. You'll end up spending 4.5 hours playing it, like we did the first time.
Which is that was crazy. We
Well, that's because you've got clues like, it's cold in here.
yeah, exactly. Just
and then
A fridge? Why are you in a fridge? What kind of job?
and then
yeah.
at any point during the round, somebody can stop the timer and say, "I think this guy's the spy. This person is the spy," and then you all vote on that.
But without
deliberating.
Yeah.
And then if you agree, then that person reveals their card.
Unanimous agreement.
Yeah. If you're right, then that's good. If you're wrong, then the spy wins.
No. At that point, the game continues. right?
No, because you have to reveal your card.
Oh yeah, no, if it's unanimous, sorry.
If you get to the end of time,
The end of time, right?
Yeah.
Whoa, this game has just gone. This shopkeeper's gone dark all of a sudden.
If you reach the end of the 8 minutes, then all the players get to kind of deliberate over who they think the spy is, and then they take a vote. If they vote, then depending on the outcome, that player reveals or doesn't reveal their card.
So card-wise, does everyone have the same location? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, apart from the spy.
sorry,
Yeah,
There's 30 separate
I was
decks.
thinking like three of you have different. It's like, how would
No,
you
no.
chat to each other?
Oh,
I'm with
yeah,
you,
no,
like,
yeah.
three
So
of
you're
you
all
have
in
the
one
same
place.
and
Yeah.
the fourth person has
Yeah,
or whatever.
So we might
second,
be at a
third.
school,
Yeah.
and Tom might be a student, you might be the head teacher, and I might be a math teacher.
And mine
I'd
just
be
says
math.
spy.
Yeah.
You say it's cold. It's cold in here.
So, like,
schools are cold this time of year.
A submarine would
I
be a
must
good
go.
one. You always get the question. One of the standard questions that always seems to come up in a round is, how long have you been here? So if someone asked that,
Since 9 o'clock.
If somebody says,
exactly. Like
Like,
if
9
somebody
to
said
5,
that, like as a spy, you might be thinking like, there's a lot of locations where it could be like,
A business or
it's either a business but a lot of the businesses have either visitors or something to that effect. So you could kind of be like,
So you could say, I don't know, like, I got here a minute ago.
yeah, exactly. Whereas if you said it on the submarine, you went,
Hey, they're cold places.
yeah, exactly.
So just to finish the rules explanation, there are points that you can
Yeah.
calculate as well. Different points for if you're spying, right, or if you're the group. We didn't play them because we just had too much fun playing the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've never used the scoring
I think
at all.
and
Like,
if you did that, if you need to play a game and decide who wins, Spyfall probably isn't for you.
I feel like I was the winner because I had the most fun.
Sure.
So I'm fine with that.
So you get all the points.
Yes.
buddy.
But
Yeah. So,
Sorry.
but like it's just ignore them. Like it's not worth it. It's a really fun party game.
Yeah.
A really fun party
exactly.
game.
my favourite...
You've spent 6 months lying, building like horrible constructions, both for city planning.
Oh
and
yeah,
for
I mean
castles.
we're ticking all the boxes for serial killers. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mass genocide in space battles.
Yeah.
With okay.
One of my favourite stories from Spyfall is during our 4.5 hour play session, our first time.
Where we it kept going round all the players. I think it was 7 of us getting back to me, and I'd said, "Should we do another?" And everybody was just like, "Yes."
Yeah.
Instantly, no deliberation.
I think after the second time round, you just didn't ask. You just got the new deck. But we're halfway through this game, this particular round, and as ever throughout the whole night, it's been tense. And I'll explain why in a second. But so Catherine just turns
I hope
around.
this ends with, we were at a camping site. Hi-oh.
Catherine turns around to Daniela and just out of nowhere just says, "What's your favourite animal?"
Yeah.
And Daniela,
It's brilliant because there's the zoo and there's and circus. So like there's kind of ones where you might think
well,
to
that
ask
could
that.
well,
be
that
a
might be a
has-been,
personal
yeah.
question.
Yeah.
But
And I think we were at one of those.
No, we weren't. We were in
We
the
weren't.
hospital
We
because then Daniela was like, "Stop the time! We're
Yeah.
at the zoo." And we were like, "Ha ha!"
so Daniela as the spy just instantly thinks, "Oh, we're at the zoo. That's perfect." But it wasn't. It was just Catherine literally trying to find a random question in her head to
Yeah.
ask, because you have to ask a question and you can't double on questions, so you have to ask somebody. So it's just this absolutely amazing point. Just a completely random question that we used a few times afterwards.
Yeah.
Because it was just caught you off guard.
Yeah.
Now, the reason the game is so tense is because I don't think I've ever been so frightened as when you first look at your card and just see spy.
Yeah.
And there's absolutely no clue as to where you are. All the spy cards are exactly the same and just completely blank. So you look up and you just look around at your friends who are comfortable in the knowledge they know where they are, and you're like, what the hell am I going to say?
That is the worst. The worst is when it's your go to be first and you're the spy. What question do you ask when you have no idea where you are and you've had no previous nothing to go off? So you just sort of like, weather's nice today.
But even then,
Yeah, there's so many where
that's
that
not enough for people to be like, "Yeah, he's the spy."
Yeah.
Or there's one or two things where you might get caught out. For
Yeah.
the most part, you can kind of bluff through that, but it's you're still clenching through that whole round.
It's horrible, isn't it? It's almost too horrible to enjoy.
Yeah, like
it literally
it's
dances
right on the
along that
verge,
line.
yeah.
Which is where we were the
Which
first
is
few
why it's
times we
good.
played it. With the first few rounds we played it, I turned to Andy at the end of each round and said, "How was that?" He was this by 2 out of the 3 times.
Quite a few times to begin with.
And he said, I don't know. And then, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And then I just don't know if it's... Because there's been an awful lot of hype around this game.
Yeah.
An awful lot of hype as it was coming out. But then, like, a couple of rounds later,
Then I had a
we're
few
still
rounds of
playing.
knocking the spine.
Yeah,
and
and the
what
first round
counts.
I had, despite I was like, I do not like this. I
Yeah.
really do not like this. This is horrible.
But it's that tension. It's not. It's just you have
just
to
gotta get
learn
used-
how to deal with
yeah.
it.
And also because it's only 10 minutes, like
It's fine.
Okay, cool. Now let's play another round.
Yeah.
Like,
Unlike the Battlestar 4 hour and a half.
Yeah, exactly.
The first kind,
That's
which
just
is the one thing of
sweating,
that
but-
game that the first time we played it, I had the Simon Card right from the start. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh my god,
Yeah,
like
it
I've
took me
got
a long
to
5
work
hours.
out what to do for 4.5 hours.
yeah.
So just to finish on Spyfall, I've got to ask you both a question. The game plays 3 to 8 players. How does it play with 3 players?
I mean,
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
It doesn't play. It functions at 3 players.
Yeah, like you can enact the rules with
Yeah,
3 players.
it
But
definitely-
Jesus, it's bad.
So with 3 players, the spy just doesn't have any opportunity to hide. So I mean, by that point, we'd played probably 6 hours of this game.
Yeah.
At
A
least.
solid amount.
And even so we're fairly experienced. We know what to do as the spy. We've seen spies, how they perform, and we've performed ourselves as the spies. But you just can't do it. Like, it doesn't
It's true
work.
for most of those, all of those sort of games. The lower it gets, the worse
Yeah.
it is. 'Cause
Yeah,
it just
and it's
becomes
just not
like 3 of you is then that. Why do you all hate me? 'Cause
Well,
it's
yeah.
very like there's 2 on. It doesn't.
like,
the more you have, the better it
Spyfall's
is.
worse as well because you can't ask a question back to the person that just asked you a question.
So you're always.
So it's just like a circle of questions that's just sort of like, wow, isn't this fun?
I think Richard asked me a question and then I asked Tom a question. Tom just went, and I was like,
Yeah,
I'm the
exactly.
spy, aren't you? He's like, yeah. Yeah, I'm the spy.
Because you just don't have like
Yeah.
within a 7-player game, you can fluff your answer.
Yeah,
But
and
there's
people
normally
usually
enough
forget because
suspicion somewhere else by
Yeah.
the time
You can hide a bit.
like it just it says 3 to 7 on the box, but from what we've played, minimum 5
5.
players.
Yeah, I would
that
say
haven't
it's
gotten
got
five
that
to
far.
eight.
Yeah,
5 to 8. So yeah.
But yeah, okay, so that's it for part 1. We're going to go on a quick break and then come back with a chat on Kickstarter. Thanks for listening. This is the Rollin Dice Show podcast. And we'll see you in a second. And welcome back to part 2 of the return of our podcast.
Weekly.
The weekly podcast that we don't
Weekly.
bring one weekly.
Bi-weekly,
Tri-weekly.
tri-weekly,
Tri-weekly.
monthly.
I still say biannual weekly podcast is the best way to.
When it happens. So today's topic is Kickstarter. But before we continue, I think we should take the momentum of this memento
Memento.
and second shot. Cheers, guys.
Double
Cheers.
shot.
Before we
Because
just went
we're
over the mic.
2 years old. Don't trip on it. There we go.
Cool. Good.
Oh.
So Kickstarter.
So is that to celebrate the 2-year anniversary of Rollin Dice?
No, that's 2 episodes. It's a shot per episode this year, Tom.
Yeah, so we've...
I mean, that's actually true.
Exactly. I'm keeping it on theme.
That was a micro episode. We just need to take a little thimbleful next.
We'll do that one next.
You can't count saying, "Hey, this is what we're going to do for the rest of the
That
year."
was at least 5 minutes long.
A solid 5 minutes, thank you. Okay, we're gonna talk about Kickstarter because it's sort of bugging me. I'm going to talk about it broadly to begin with. Do any of you guys still use Kickstarter?
I have backed 2 projects on Kickstarter.
This year?
No,
Just ever?
ever.
Ever? Okay.
I don't have money.
Junior, you're a successful artist. You're showing in the Tate next
I'm
week,
barely
aren't you?
either of those things.
Jimmy, Never use Kickstarter.
No, I usually just get sent videos, and because we do the bar stuff, we'll always get sent like, you should get this. And the biggest problem with the you should get this is it like you don't really, all our game stuff, the things that we think would be big usually aren't, and the like what gets played the most is never what you would probably predict or like on paper a year ahead of time going, everyone like something like Spyfall, you wouldn't have someone say that's a really good game for the like until it comes out and you can play them. So it's like I usually look at cool videos and then I tend to send you the link and go, Andy, and you're like, rubbish. Like, thanks for clarifying. But normally it's
The thing is, as well, a lot of the games that do really well on Kickstarter just aren't suitable for a bar setting.
Yeah.
no, like that sort of market is still like miniatures still seem to be an overriding. Like,
Yeah.
that's one of the tick boxes. Like if you have them, you're normally onto a winner. And like we've had like a couple of those ones come in, like the Cool or Not minis game. A few of those have come into the bar. Zombicide was a Kickstarter thing. Like they're all they fit that crowd because they're really dedicated players that want to buy that and get like a 3-4 hour. But for us, the most popular things are the 30-minute.
Yeah.
Come on, there's been a few like Exploding Kittens.
Yeah.
We'll come
That
to that
like
later.
3-4 people bought that like as they were getting there when they first shipped them out. Different people just bought it down and went, "You need to play this. It's really good." And that type of game seems to be like the new trend for this, where it's like a known artist or a cool IP going, it's this simple game that anyone can play. And I guess that's because it opens it to way more people than someone that's going to buy a miniatures game. So I can see why Oatmeal game, I think that's now like the most funded game.
Yeah. Or if it's.
I'm going to plug that
It's
fact
top
out the air. It's
three.
like it's very high, even considering computer. Like it's up there.
It
with-
might even be the top
I think it
percentage.
might, like in-game stuff.
because like it got like 4.
Yeah, which is that's because so if you look at the type of game it was, like it's cool art and you weren't losing an audience by going like there's tons of weird like no, it was just like it's a game you can play and it looks quite cool.
Yeah. And before we jump into Exploding Kittens, like Rich, have you used Kickstarter much?
Specifically for games or just in general?
For just in general.
I think I've backed 4 projects this year on Kickstarter.
Okay. So we're not heavy users at whatsoever, because I think I've done 3 this year.
What did I do? I did Epic Card Game, which we just received.
Yep.
I did.
Video coming soon. Not
I
priced.
did.
Your experience may differ.
two decks of playing cards, which were like all glitchy and looked really cool. I just wanted a deck of playing cards. They look nice.
An insight into the world of what Rich gets up to late at night.
Glitchy playing cards.
No, they always. It's awesome. It's like so. It's like all the RGB channels.
Like when you get
slightly
digital.
shuffled and-
Digital corruption.
I know the set you mean. Yeah. They are actually really cool.
They look really
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's called Glitch 2.0. They are shipping currently, so you're too late, listeners. But they're really cool. And I did Lord of the Dead, which was a game that
so I'm on the
wrote about
Kickstarter
in your
picks.
Kickstarter picks.
Okay.
Which was a micro game, and I've not played it because I got it through, and it wasn't quite the micro game that I was expecting it to be.
Okay, so it looks kind of cool.
The Glitch 2.0.
I've just looked up Glitch on my thing. Okay, cool. So we're not heavy Kickstarter.
But
How about yourself?
you're like the picks master, so
I wouldn't quite say that. I've backed a few things. Not, I think it's three or 4. I definitely backed a like a superheroes RPG because I'm still waiting for the best superheroes RPG that I can find because that's the one thing I like. Done a load of fantasy, but not a lot of superheroes.
Ghostbusters RPG from whenever it was 1990, really good.
I need to
At
try
least I
that.
played it back in the day, and I wasn't me running it, so I was just doing things. But that was cool. You run your own little franchise.
That's cool.
It's not
Yeah, when you're
superheroes.
saying
Yeah.
superhero RPG, do you mean like tabletop RPG?
Yeah.
Because there is a really good one.
Okay. I mean, there might be. I've just not played it. So
Okay,
I
yeah.
backed.
But it's-
I backed a Canadian guy who wanted to make a simple superhero RPG, and thanks to me and probably the rest of the backers, he
failed.
succeeded his target. I did Epic Card Game. I'm not sure why. I think I got.
It was cheap. It was super cheap.
I think it was cheap, and I sort of got the hype got it to me, and I was like, oh, I must back this.
Yeah.
And then Pixel Tactics, which is a game I'm super excited for. So yeah, so I've done 3 or 4 this year, but I'm not sure I like Kickstarter as a platform anymore, which might be a controversial statement or not.
Since we're going to start getting your 5 just board game picks, you're like, I've gone to Orc's Nest and these are 5 things I found. Good.
These were what were on the counter.
Yeah, go get them.
Well, actually, I said to Rich 2 weeks ago, I said I'm probably not going to do Kickstarter picks in 2016 because I'm just not that inspired by them anymore. There seems to be quite a lot of similar miniature games available.
I think board games more than anything else has got a little bit complacent in that it's now pretty much just a pre-order. Like, it's a publishers love it for like, cool, put it up, and things like there was that Mega Man book. Like, there's a lot of ones that they're way ahead in the production end. Like, this is what it is. It's done. We just want to sell 10,000 because it's cheaper for us to make it.
It's basically
boom, and it has a publisher and it has a like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really. There's that, and then there's the really small, cool little quirky projects that are like £3 because some guy can't afford the print run. Like,
Yeah.
awesome, you'll get a game that would never have existed. But like the bigger ones where it is like there was the Ghostbusters one. Like, they've already got the light. Like, that's not a thing you can
Do without
make
money.
and pluck out the air without it already getting way down the line. You could have done like an inspired by, but that had like official IP. It has a publisher. It has a everyone basically says, yeah, we'll buy it. Just can you try and sell like.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Which is all right. Like, that works, but it's like you could do that from your webs. Like, you want it to get a little bit closer than that type of company where it's like they don't really need the foot up.
It's the same thing that's happening in the video game space. Like,
Mhm.
it's exactly the same problem. Like, now,
Now
it's
companies
just-
are being told, or like individuals are like, if you can get
it's
this amount of money on
yeah.
Kickstarter, we'll give you 3 times that amount of money as a publishing deal. And
Yeah.
I don't think it's
it's
I don't think
sucky
the right
and
thing
it's
to be
not.
doing, but it is what.
yeah, like
It's not in the spirit of the platform.
Yeah.
It's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, these people, if they needed to, could go and get the money elsewhere.
Yeah, I think the main my it's difficult for board games because you do need to go with those. You've got to pay for the resources.
because like the
You've got
nature
to pay
of
for the
print
wooden.
runs,
Yeah, you've
and
got to pay for the wooden cubes.
if you don't want, which is the problem with a lot of board games always ending up with things like meeples, is there's a couple of manufacturers that have preset pieces, so that's why everything is a tile game. That's why everything has components you've seen because it's cheaper. Like, you'd be an idiot not to, it's cooler to have superhero little marker, but they're like, if you have a meeple, it's 10p. If you have superhero man, it's £1.50. Like, yeah, meeple it is, and like,
But I am seeing more and more companies that have used Kickstarter before that are successful using Kickstarter.
Well, Reaper is the one that always comes to mind for me. Reaper Miniatures.
Okay.
Fantastic miniatures.
Yeah.
I would always use them, but literally every new run that they do will be a Kickstarter,
Really? Yeah.
and they look great, but it's just I feel it's in bad spirit to do it that way. I completely understand why, because obviously like the manufacturers are like, well, if you can prove that people are actually going to buy these, then fine, we'll make them at X cost. So it's not like it's the company's fault that they have to do it, but it's just crappy all round. But
Yeah. There's the company that I think of is Level 99 Games, which made an absolutely fantastic game in Battlecon, Devastation of Indies, that me and Rich have played several times and thoroughly enjoy.
Really good.
But everything they do is with a Kickstarter, and I just feel like after a while, like, I don't know their finances, that maybe they genuinely need this every time to go, but I just feel like eventually you need to leave Kickstarter because that should be for like the new creators.
And they are a card game. Like, there's no real bespoke pieces in any of those boxes.
Well, their latest project wasn't even for a board game; it was for the the video game of their card game,
Which I backed. Oops.
and and they wanted $10,000. And if you need $10,000 for your video game, I think you're pretty much there.
Yeah, I mean, $10,000 for a company of that size is not any
No,
amount of
I don't think they're massive, but still, like I think
No,
they're big enough.
I mean, $10,000 for a company generally isn't a lot of money.
Yeah.
They're going to make a ton of money off the back of that.
Yeah.
You've got to imagine that if they went to a bank and said, "I need a $10,000 loan
Just to finish this
for
game.
the company, finish it. We can kind of guarantee we'll be able to get this amount of return."
Yeah, because we made X amount on this Kickstarter, this Kickstarter, this Kickstarter, and this
Yeah,
Kickstarter.
exactly. Yeah.
And the problem is, it leads to people thinking of Kickstarter as a pre-order system.
Yeah.
Because that's how these companies are using it. And that's a problem, because it then means that when those...
It just kind of gets rid of the smaller people that you have to have either a license or they want, like, you need 10,000 fans of your game.
But it also
if you
means-
have just a cool idea, you've got no hope. Like, not a chance in hell. You have to have slick art, slick video, slick... Like,
Which
you can't...
they can't afford to do.
Where, and like... Something like Greedy Wizards that we had was like a small, and that was, I think their target was like $500 because it was just enough to do
A print run.
like a
Yeah.
print run. Like there's not, you would never see that sort of project explode. Like
Yeah.
you get the ones that are like, oh, runaway success, but they're all. It's become like it's more of a boutique shop, which is cool. But for me, I'm still more. I'd rather go in a shop, buy it all,
Yeah.
and be dumb enough to like walk out with the pile of stuff and.
I mean, what's happened is that these big projects where they kind of trick the consumer into being like, oh, the Ghostbusters one, like, perfect example.
Let's talk about the Ghostbusters.
So-
one.
obviously
Created by Cryptozoic.
But you know, Cryptozoic huge.
Yeah. No,
So many licenses.
Sony are obviously
Huge.
have a vested interest in as much as the board game as the real, like the animated version. It's Sony own it. They're about to do a new film. Like they it'll do all right.
Oh
Regardless.
yeah. I mean, whatever. Sony's not going to do a new film if it's not going to sell a ton of money. Like it's going to make a return. And Cryptozoic,
licensing kind of experts, if you can call them that. Like we had.
I mean, they did the Batman game, which we didn't like, and they did the
Hawk and card game that I could never
Hawk
get
and
hold
card
of.
game,
That was the real time. Like they've done. There's more than enough things they've done that have done well and.
that it's a big established company that makes a ton of money.
Yeah, I mean, Cryptozoic made 1.5 million for the Ghostbusters Kickstarter.
Yeah.
absolutely insane. Like,
but what,
Could have been $1.5 million and $50, but Andy Jones over there shot him down when I went, Andy,
full
do I get it?
Full disclosure, when that first went up, I backed that Kickstarter.
Yeah, because I think I remember
I backed it as like one of the early bird things,
yeah.
Which meant that I got the full game for a little bit less than I was supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Which was, let's say, $50. But then shipping
Definitely wasn't.
But then no, I think it was. About
It was
$50.
quite. It wasn't high.
It was a good deal for the early bird stuff.
Okay.
But then shipping was like $25 because I think I asked you if you wanted a copy for the bar once I'd
Because that must have been what I know. Only because it's there's a couple of things that will always get me like primed to do something stupid, which is like Ghostbusters, Tavern, anything from like my
Ninja Turtles.
like
Any
teenage
successful
like,
80s film.
teenage childhood, but like anything I would have seen, and that's why it hits 1 million. Half those people aren't board game fans, which is why they've got no problem.
They're fans.
If they love the cartoon, and that's why when I saw the link, and then you were like, it's Cryptozoic, and I'm not knowing that much about board games, but I knew they weren't really famous for like they don't do it that well.
I mean, yeah, not to like my advice was Cryptozoic have some
well,
good
mine,
games,
I
but
looked into
some
it, and my
don't.
problem was that it was the animated, and I was like, nah. I knew things like the old RPG that was based on the film license. Like, why didn't they just do the film? Would have been, and obviously, I bet the cartoon was cheaper. So for me as a fan, I was like, it's cool. Like, it's good, but I would buy it when it comes out. Sure, maybe.
Yeah, but the thing that really, because obviously I was a backer, so every time they made an update, I got an email. The thing that really pissed me off about this project was that every day, and towards the start of it, more than every day, they were hitting their next stretch goal.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh yeah, I think to start off with it was just text. Like, if we hit this, we'll add in another character. And then they hit the stretch goal and there's a full render. Of the character. Yeah. Now I work in a sector that I work in architecture, so I know how long renders take, and I know how difficult it is to get it right before you have to run it by a different company.
Well, yeah, obviously, if you've got a license, they're not letting them do a Stay Puffed
Exactly. It needs
marshmallow character, because they'll go, no, that's not the right size.
It needs to look spot on.
Yeah.
Which means that they had 15, 20, I can't remember the exact number, different stretch goals set out before they hit the project.
Yeah.
Which means that they knew they were going to hit those targets.
Yeah, exactly.
Which sucks.
Yeah.
Like, if you know you're going to hit those targets, that's your initial target and everything's in the box.
Yeah.
Like, don't kind of hide behind this, like, oh, but we'll get this. And it works. That's the annoying thing. It works. Like, it gets people interested. There was a guy on Kickstarter today who did another game that I kickstarted that I did mention, Pretense, that was kind of amazed that somebody who didn't have these things was doing really well. But you have to have stretch goals. You have to have excellent art. You have to have an excellent video.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have a good how to play thing on your main channel. If you don't have those, your Kickstarter generally will fail.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't have to have stretch goals. Stretch goals should be
hate
like
stretch goals.
I mean, without wanting to kind of step on the toes of somebody that we really like, recently I played a game called Gem Packed Games, and there's a preview up on the site, and it hit its goal.
Justly. But I mean, that's his third game on his third Kickstarter. But it's one guy. He's not a company.
He's not a company at all. But he had a stretch goal that was... One of the stretch goals was that there was a bag that you could put all the things in. That's a really nice feature.
Yeah.
And it was in the rulebook that came through the prototype as what was part of the game. So he'd clearly thought of it, that's a thing that was part of the game, and then taken it away. And that's not right. Like, I don't like... It's the same thing, like coming from a video game space of the whole, this DLC is just tacked on.
Yeah.
It's taken away and then added into the main game. And I'm sure that was a perfectly reasonable... He looked at how much these things actually cost, and it was like,
just need a bit more.
We can't afford to do the bags. Like, we just need to do the main game.
But yeah, I think you might see a switch. Have you seen Eurogamer's thing where they're doing the gamers edition of games, and they have similar type of trick, but it's like a special edition of a game that's already come out, and you get tat with it, but they do it based on there's 2 months, but they have a target to hit, and the second it hits that target, they print it. Like, it's more of that style of ordering, where it's like, I think that's where you'll see board games go, or a site will just come in and steal that of, we need to get 5,000 copies of this card game to print it, here's the order, and just let it tick over.
Well, that's what I don't understand.
You could leave it 6 months. Who really care? It doesn't matter to a board game if it's 6 months later to go. The second it hits, it will get printed. Done.
Well,
and do you want to do it or not? I think.
And there's kind of sites that already exist.
But some are starting to do that. But I think this
Kickstarter does that as well. So I was just double checking because I knew some vague facts about the Reapers thing, but I don't want to state them because they sound ludicrous. So each of them, there's 3 ones that I was thinking of, which are called the Bones series. They're bare bone essential models. And they look really, really good. The goals for all 3 Kickstarter projects was 30,000. Each of them raised over 3 million. Bloody hell! I just checked on one of them. Speaking of stretch goals, 54 stretch goals on the second one.
That's insane.
And obviously they had planned, because they had to go to marketing, and to manufacturing, and to build all the molds. They had planned for that. They knew.
I understand stretch goals because they're a good marketing tool to use.
But Kickstarters, you can continue to invest even though it's closed, so you can still put money into it.
That's insane.
Which I don't understand how that works. But that just means essentially, well, at least the third one says that. So it is like having an ordering system. I don't know why they don't just have their website.
Because
and just say
Star
if X number of people
Citizen
use...
is the big one. They switched it and how they hit their Mega Millions. It's all a website. And they sell assets. It's weird you haven't seen more board game. The company ones like Cryptozoic, just stick it on your website and then have. We're doing the Ghostbusters game. Click here to
because
pre-buy it for
once you hit
$80 or $50 right now if you buy it, and you get all this
because
free.
Because once you hit the big money, that percentage that Kickstarter takes, which is relatively low, starts to become a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
If you make $1 million and they're taking 5% of that, you notice that.
Yeah.
That's no small thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, talking of stretch goals again, I complained to you about this, Rich, the other day. Level 99 games. I absolutely adore Balcon, so I feel okay.
It's incredible.
I feel okay sort of saying some bad things about them. But they've got a new game out called Exceed, which looks like an interesting game, but it's 4 packs with 4 fighters in each pack, and then 2 of the stretch goals are 2 new fighters. And like to balance those 2 new fighters, they must have planned for them ahead of time. But just 2 new fighters is a bit odd to put in one of the 4.
Yeah,
like they made so it just feels the day one DLC.
Yeah, like 4 new fighters would make sense because then each player gets
Also,
or each pack gets.
it just it feels too day one DLC to me.
It's which is the exact comparison to Capcom and Street Fighter, which I think was the origin of the whole day one DLC thing in video games. Where it was like, this is too much work. Like, to balance a fighting game character is far too many hours. That's not the sort of thing you can just pull out your ass at the last minute. That's something that existed, you've taken it away, and now you want us to pay extra for it.
At a fundamental level, I agree with stretch goals, but I don't want to know them until you've passed your target.
Yeah, pretty much. I think.
Tell me what the base game
I don't know.
is.
I like stretch goals when they aren't like actually. Reaper's stretch goals are usually like. It's not something that's essential. Same problem I have with day one DLC.
Yeah, when it's fan components, it's cool.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
A
If it's just
bag, you
random
can
stuff,
argue is
the
like
bag makes
it
sense.
changes the game in no way.
Yeah.
But when it is,
But
characters,
Slightly thicker colours.
missions,
What game
expansion,
was it
you're like, yeah, this is like you have to make sure it works, and you already have done. Is like,
Yeah.
that feels a bit more. Whereas, yes, nicer stock. Exploding Kittens did it like the box that made meow noises.
Yeah.
That's like awesome. Go for it.
Yeah,
like, That's
Love that.
Yeah,
totally makes
anything that
sense
doesn't
because it
change
doesn't.
the game.
The game, you have the same deck. You've just got the guys that did it early got a cool box that makes a cat noise. Like.
What game was it? Like video game now that essentially took out a bit of the story. Oh no, it was Mass Effect.
Mass Effect, wasn't it?
Yeah, and just insane as a
And it's so
as a DLC pitch.
Yeah, the DLC that you kind of understand why the Reapers look how they look and the kind of origin. Yeah, it's incredible. Or their day one DLC where you get the
the extra character. That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, sorry, the extra character
because
that
he
you
was
get.
plot choices fed into that character, and they got killed for.
It was ridiculous, but it's the same sort of. It's an equivalence. Like, it's still stuff that's cut from the core game, and you're expected to pay extra for it.
Yeah.
I appreciate with a Kickstarter, it's not necessarily you that's paying extra for it, but you are, because that's already as part of the price of the game. You're just told afterwards that you're getting it for more money, which is it's that irritates me, because that's part of it. They've set the price, then they've cut all these extra little bits off, and they've said this is what the game's worth.
Because ultimately, they're not going to get the money if they don't make the target, right? So, what's the cheapest I can make this game?
Yeah.
I'll just cut that character.
Yeah.
I'll cut that extra mission that each player gets. It's just, and ultimately, like, I don't know what your Kickstarter searching times are per month. Mine's a bit higher because I write the article.
Yeah.
But like, if there's several big companies taking up spaces, then I'm not going to see some of the smaller games because Kickstarter seems to prioritise. I don't know how. Maybe it's a conspiracy theory.
Kickstarter's a company. It's out to make the most money.
They've just changed their company structure now, so they are. I can't remember the exact term, but they've switched to like more like a public interest company. Right. So as a business, they've now changed their share structure to their whole company remit, probably also for tax reasons. Is richer, but like their mantra now is back to that. It's consumer interest rather than we have to do stuff that makes the shareholders rich. But that was like last week they restructured to become, because that's what it is. It's about an.
Yeah. But ultimately, when I search for tabletop games, I see the biggest companies. And the biggest games
that's because they make them the money.
Which is fair for Kickstarter, but it's difficult to see the guys who are releasing their first game, like, that need the money, that don't have the marketing budget, that are just...
Yeah, I think it's just a bit unfortunate that if you are that person and you go to a publisher, they are now saying you have to do that.
That's what I don't like.
If your game's amazing and you've got really good artwork, whatever, you've put your time... They have the budget to give you like the 10 grand up front to pay for the print run, but they will go, cool, take that. if you hit this amount of money, if you hit 10 grand, we'll give you a label and we'll sell your game for you. It's like, what?
Yeah.
It's like
But
I don't like across all industries, like music producers have started doing it, like film, everywhere. It's just everywhere that people are saying, oh, if you can raise X amount through crowdsourcing, then we know it's a viable project. Well, no, because if I can raise it through crowdfunding, then I'm just going to raise it through crowdfunding.
This is what, like, the band thing is. If you get 100 fans, you don't you can sustain a thing. You don't need to get which is always these weird companies that are like, yeah, we'll sign you, but only if you.
And it turns around to bite them in the ass. Because sometimes all the people that back them on Kickstarter is all of the interest.
Well, yeah, that's
exactly.
And you were saying last week, like, a few games have swapped publishers because other ones are better. There was the collectible card game you were talking about that moved. Someone wanted to relaunch it because they're like, oh, this publisher is better. It's like they should have had him in the first place.
Oh, it was Legend of the Five Rings, which has gone to...
That's just gone to fantasy.
But I mean,
and it's relaunching
this sort of thing, like, there are
yeah.
companies that are better, but they will, like, companies will sign a weirder game that they're not good at just because they're like, you're popular. We'll do it. And it's like, you'll
make us money. Like, it's always just, we can make stuff off you.
Yeah.
And if they offer the best deal, then yeah, you're going to go with them.
Yeah, exactly.
But ultimately, sorry, going back, I'm not even talking about those sort of designers that have gone to a publisher. I saw this one guy a couple of months ago, and it was, his video was him and a guitar singing a song about his game, cutting to B-roll of his kids playing the game, and it was like, it was sweet, but ultimately like a terrible Kickstarter. But it's like this one dad who's just made this game to try and teach his kids better grammar, and he's not gone to a publisher, and he's just trying to make it so other parents could buy this game. But it was literally like 6 pages of board game searches to get to him. So like, maybe I don't think his project was successful, and I had no interest in the game. But like, for me, Kickstarter should be promoting these sorts of people who are trying to, like, you need a few of those, more of these first timers, rather than sort of this person who's trying to get $10,000 so that Cryptozoic will give them the budget to create their game.
Or even I can't remember his name, Matt from the Oatmeal. Like, he could get enough money to make a game without going to
Someone
Kickstarter.
would sign that on the spot easily.
Yeah.
Like, if he walks into your office and goes, "I'll do all the artwork,"
yeah, because he has
his trout. Like, they're already massive.
Was it last year he ran a big thing about getting money for the
Tesla Museum,
the Tesla Museum, and it made
Edison
a ton of money.
Yeah.
And those people are basically just people that read his site and want to support what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's not people that are like Tesla's, oh, he's really cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Support his very popular comic website.
Like, they support his, incredibly popular comic website that does a lot of comics about Tesla.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's one way to give back to him, and, so he has his audience. He has these millions of people that view his website every year. And, we'll kick in a few pounds. Because again, Exploding Kittens was like 15 quid for the box, something.
It's like $20, and it made. I've got it here somewhere. I wanted to turn on this actually. This is really good. You brought it up. It made $8.7 million dollars
for a card game.
For one card game, which is like a 6 or 7 out of 10 at best.
Well, I think it's to be fair. I think it's a lot better than some other games that have come out from Kickstarter.
That's true,
but still not fantastic.
Yeah.
But I mean, the other side of this coin is Kickstarter is a good platform for getting new gamers into.
Was actually going to be
those people. There's a ton of people that have never even played like a. So your 6 and 7 out of 10 to them is a 9 out of 10.
Yeah,
It's a cool. It's better than Poker, which is like the last card game they've probably sat and played.
Yeah. So actually, this brings me on to my last question of the podcast, and that is Exploding Kittens good for board gamers?
Yeah.
For the board game industry.
They all are. Anything that, like, any game where someone who previously hasn't played a game or has played games and hasn't liked games, if they sit down and play a game and go, that was fun, great. Like, because then you can just, like, go, I feel like that. Maybe you might, like, play that a couple of times. Once you start to get bored of that system, maybe you might like this, and you might like this. What did you like about that experience?
I had a half-hour-long conversation yesterday with somebody about Cards Against Humanity. which is a game that I never want to play again.
Yeah, fair.
And
Me too.
I don't like what it kind of represents. I don't like the humour. I don't like the fact that essentially it's a bit of a crap game.
Such a social justice warrior.
But this person loved it. Like they really,
is the thing,
really liked it. And
like, we had it,
in a
and
bar.
like it got stolen. But that's the type of person that probably plays it. But like it's the amount of people that ask about it that aren't necessarily who you would say are like, oh, it's not. It's like middle-aged woman that asks like, oh, do you have this? Because they've heard about it and they want to play it. And like it's that thing of it's not our place to be like, shouldn't play that. It's the same as like if they want a double vodka Red Bull, we're like, all right, you can like, and you give it, but like without like you can, and then that's the cool thing. Once they've played that, you can then go. We have these other games that are a bit like that. If you liked it,
and
we don't have it. We're always like, there's this thing that's similar,
it's
this
pretty
one.
telling that Andy wrote a thing probably 6-8 months ago now, and it's the thing that consistently gets the most hits on our site, which is alternatives to Cards Against Humanity, and it's because Cards Against Humanity is people's entryway into board games, like Exploding Kittens will be for a lot of people. Like it's the first thing that they play that they like. This isn't Monopoly, holy shit, or this isn't a deck of cards, whatever.
This isn't a glitch deck of cards. Amazing.
and people get bored with it, and they're like, okay, actually, I don't like a few things. But
what else?
The rest of my friends
and like,
do,
there's
so
still
what's an alternative?
there's still some nice stuff in. Like they have the hidden cards that are sealed in the box.
Oh
like, as those guys, and like they know what they're doing when they sold the it's like the cow manure, and everyone bought it, and like they on Black Friday they put the price up, and more people buy that game. Like I'll give them a lot of credit for. They're not. They are. They're not. It's not like they put it out and go, "We're going to change." They know what they're doing. And go,
it was just like
it's now $5 more expensive.
It was never pitched as being like everybody should play this game from the actual people that make it.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, it kind of ran away from them.
Yeah.
Here are other like college students.
It's
like,
a card game for terrible people.
Yeah,
which is their
what's on the box.
tagline.
You don't have to be terrible.
And the
disclaimer.
The whole like.
I mean, Cards Against Humanity was my gateway. Like that was genuinely. Okay. I mean, if you ignore Dungeons and Dragons, like genuinely,
you can hear or where Andy just loses all respect for at that point. Scrub back in the podcast and you'll hear.
First year after uni, so ignoring Dungeons and Dragons and like
nerd.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing is,
ignoring the nerdy bits, like that was the first. Well, we used to play things like Balderdash and Articulate.
Okay.
And then randomly found this Cards Against Humanity game, printed it off because it was before it existed in UK.
I think it's still free print.
Yeah, it is. You can still download it for free.
But anyway,
and then got bored of it very quickly in like an evening and went, I wonder what's similar.
I mean, ultimately, anything that brings new gamers into the hobby is incredibly important.
Yeah.
And whether that's a game that's incredibly racist, transphobic, and
horrible,
any other like terrible thing that you want to add to it, which we have pushed a multitude of much better alternatives to, because ultimately it's a bit of a crap game, or whether it's Exploding Kittens, which is
everyone turn off the podcast at that point with their Cards Against Humanity deck in their hand. Like,
I'm a good person, damn it.
or whether it's a game that is pretty light but is like has a big name behind it, like like the Oatmeal's Exploding Kittens, or like Ghostbusters.
We'll reserve that judgment until it gets there.
Yeah, but the Ghostbusters game was essentially Zombicide, which is like it's an okay game. Like you just need to be into it. You need to be behind the theme. If it brings new people in, and those people then go out and buy something else, which they probably will do.
Yeah,
it's a good thing.
Yeah,
Jimmy, if Exploding Kittens goes to retail, will you get it in the bar?
Probably. I'm still toying with getting Cards Against Humanity again, just because it's that thing, capitalism, man. Like if 10 people come in and ask for it, and the thing is, that whole gateway game that's the one they want. When you don't have it, half the people that I'll go, we don't have that, but we have something like Bucket of Doom that you can play that's similar. Like what you get out of it is the same. They will still glaze over. Get something bizarre, like not even related to that, and go like,
and then they'll pick up something else. And then
whereas, had you had Cards Against Humanity, they would play that week, come back next week, and play something else. That's your argument again.
They want the name recognition.
they're like, no, because I got told to play this, and you're not going to go, like, your friend's an idiot. Because they're not. Like, if you like that game, cool, play, and, like, depends on how you play it. So,
brilliant.
Yeah, I think the biggest
the other
problem
one
is...
was cash and guns.
Yeah,
you just leave a foam gun out on the side. People were like, what's this?
But then it's that thing of getting from the Kickstarter to, like, those games being easily buyable once they come out and not keeping it as, like, oh, it's only for the guys that got the cat meow, like...
Well, they've got, like, 5.5 million.
Yeah, I know. I think that will hit
Honesty
retail, but it's the problem you still have with board games of, like, once it has done a Kickstarter, there's a big gap between it ending up in somewhere like Orcs Nest or Leisure Games of, like, people then see it and go, can I buy that? And you're like, not yet. Or like, yeah, it did, but it had a print run of 10 and it's gone. Which is like, that's my bigger problem.
Or what is a lot of the problem with, you do, but actually you don't get the bits that you need to make it a really good game.
But yeah, if you have
because
this
they were
expansion
stretch
problem,
goals, so you don't get those in the core set. Like, that's part of the
that
problem.
would be my big problem with anything like that is it's awkward when people go, cool, where can I buy it? Like, well, if you didn't buy the Kickstarter, you can't get it. Like, cool, I'll just go do something. I'll buy something. I'll buy Monopoly again because I can go and buy that and say, yeah, that's still someone.
Yeah, I mean,
fix that.
it's quite interesting, like you being a friend and you getting that other side of it because you get a lot of fucking casuals.
Yeah, I know. We've got. If you want to break Andy Jones's heart again. There's other games we have that get played a lot.
But like there's a very specific game that you have at the bar that we don't enjoy.
But I think it's the big trade-off of
really do
because our stuff is the audience you would get that would pay to play a game, whereas because it's free and what's there is what's there. People just pick up what looks bright or like if it's colourful, they pick it up.
It's all about the theme. It's all about can I sit down and teach this to the rest of the game?
Yeah, it's like
people I'm playing
they'll come in as a couple
in a minute.
Between two of them, can they learn it?
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys, for chatting about Kickstarter and the games you played. Richard Smith.
Yep.
If people want more Rolling Dice Show content, where can they go?
They can always go to
iTunes.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I mean,
maybe not.
There's at least 13 episodes of this podcast up on there.
All you need.
And some episodes of us playing RPGs.
Oh god, there is.
Maybe more soon.
Probably don't listen to those.
What?
Yeah, just
A
ignore
superhero
that.
RPG.
Once it gets delivered.
Otherwise, you can go to youtube.com/RollinDiceShow, which
Love
is
it.
where you'll find the reason that we haven't done very many podcasts.
Me and my nipple.
Yeah, you can see Andy's tit. You can see me dressed as a sheriff.
Yeah.
The Suburbia review coming up, I hear. There's rumours.
Sure, maybe. Why not?
No, cool.
Also, there's Twitter, which
Twitter.
is twitter.com/RollingDiceShow.
Yep. No G's.
So just at Rolling Dice Show. We don't have a Facebook because
You don't need it.
It's
Don't need it.
pointless.
But
Don't need
mainly
it.
just come down to the site. Please read some of our things.
Yeah, definitely.
We
we do a lot of articles.
We're trying to we do roughly 2 things a week.
Was that needed, Tom Ryan? Was that needed?
I can't take you seriously whenever you say anything and then like 2 involved in that. I'm like, yeah.
And Jimmy,
Yeah.
where can people go to this famous loading bar?
They can come to the bar, 97 Stoke Newington Road, N16 8BX.
What if they needed to know what was going on ahead? Like, where would they go to find out? That
The website that's updated less than your iTunes account, which is drinkrelaxplay.co.uk, or Twitter, where we tend to put most of our stuff out. So feature board game for tabletop, or if you guys are in there showing off a board game, we'll do it through that. So at drinkrelaxplay.
Yeah. It's worth noting that you have games available all week long, but you also have a dedicated game.
Yeah,
every
there's
Tuesday.
around 100. Some go in the bin because they get haggard and we don't want them anymore.
Yeah.
But there's we've just changed our shelves, so there's at least 100 up there. That, you can just come in. If you buy a drink, you can then sit and play them. And
Wait, so it's free to play, but you just need to buy a drink?
yes, Andy Jones.
That's amazing.
And how many drinks should you buy
Squarespace?
per hour, just roughly to make?
One, they're the same
17.
as 24.
I mean,
No, we're one. So we've had people come in. If you come on a quieter day, you can happily sit there and nurse your 1 pint for ages. So, if it's a busy day, we just say an hour. So if it's $2.50 for a Coke.
what you're telling me is that you think drafts is a rip-off.
Okay,
Hey.
Thomas Ryan, thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Is this a good return to podcasting? our weekly podcast show.
Because I won't listen to it.
Good, thank you. Jimmy, thank you so much for turning up today and embracing us with your knowledge.
It's all right.
Richard Smith.
Where can we get more Andy Jones content if we need that, Andy Jones?
Well, I mean, as ever, you can go to rollandiceshow.com or twitter.com/rollandiceshow or youtube.com/rollandiceshow.
And where can they find you specifically?
I'm at RDS Jonesy with a Z on Twitter.
Because he's a nerd. And
'Cause
Tom
I'm a
is
nerd.
at...
T Ryan Art.
Jimmy is the pre-mentioned...
Drink, relax, play.
And I am RDS Rich.
Thank you so much for listening. I can't promise when we'll be next back. I genuinely can't.
2 weeks.
Yeah, if anyone wants if
You
anyone
know what? There will almost certainly be a podcast within the next 2 weeks because we're heading to Essen soon. And we'll probably be recording a podcast there, which will be Andy, Tom, myself, and also Daniela, who listens to the
We've
show.
got to go!
Yeah, who is a female.
If
you would understand such a thing.
Until next time, thank you so much. All the best. Play more games. Don't be a nerd. Definitely be a nerd.
If you want to play Armada, let us know. Me and Rich need to get some value for money out of our sets.
Yes,
And
there-
Tom.
Bye!
Bye.
Cheerio.